A lot of people seriously misunderstand Aries, and that misunderstanding often comes with a price. They see how Aries speaks bluntly and doesn't bother people pleasing. They are usually the first to step up, so people jump straight to conclusions. Aggressive, too loud, too much, hard to deal with, and way too intense. But, honestly, that kind of judgment is the lazy way out. What you call too much is often just someone refusing to play small, refusing to act weak just to make everyone else comfortable. If you pay attention to a scene you've seen 100 times, it becomes obvious. When everyone in the room is waiting, wondering who will speak first or decide, Aries is already pulling out a chair, making a call, setting a direction. Not because they crave attention, but because they hate dead air and delay. They hate that more than they fear responsibility. While others are still reading the room and testing the emotional temperature, Aries is already in position, silently thinking they will take the hit. I'll take the hit if this goes sideways. And here is the part most people miss. The very traits that make Aries seem intimidating keep situations from falling apart. When pressure hits, Aries rarely backs down, and they don't crumble at the first risk. If anything, they get sharper, faster, and more direct. Then there is the complaint everyone loves to bring up, that they're unpredictable. People love feeling in control, and Aries doesn't always play along, making folks uneasy. They don't stick to the script and don't wait their turn, just because that is how it has always been done. And they definitely don't love being told to pause or hesitate, or follow old rules for the sake of comfort. Which is why those tired stereotypes don't really hold up. Aries isn't just someone who creates conflict. More often, they're the ones who pull the curtain back and put what already exists right on the table. The fake politeness, the unspoken tension, the obvious problem everyone's pretending not to see. One thing almost everyone who has dealt with Aries agrees on. With them, everything shows up in action, not spin. You don't have to guess where they stand, or decode passive-aggressive silence, or wait for a third party to translate what they really mean. They'll tell you, right then, right there. And that alone is enough to change the rules of a relationship. You see this most clearly when it comes to loyalty. If Aries gives you their loyalty, it is not casual or decorative, or only there when it is convenient. They're fully in. Not just when things are smooth or when you're easy to support, but when the situation gets awkward, messy, or even socially costly. Plenty of people stick around while the room is still warm. Aries is the type who stays when the temperature drops. Of course, there is also the part people both love and fear. Aries has opinions, and they don't keep them locked in their head. They say them out loud, usually clearly, and sometimes loudly. They're not the kind of person who goes quiet. Just because the environment prefers soft, safe, easy-to-swallow communication. So being close to Aries is, in itself, a trade-off. Respect them, and they can be incredibly warm. Betray them, stab them quietly, or play mind games, and that warmth flips fast. Not because they're bad-tempered, but because when trust breaks, their response has force. And if you keep pushing after that, don't expect them to back down. Aries is fiercely competitive, and without a real fight, they don't let go. This is where the real dividing line is. Some people look strong, but only one type uses distance, speed, and choice as protection. Aries gets labeled dramatic, impatient, and too intense. But the rule is simple and brutal. Where they truly invest, they pay the heaviest price. One heartbreak doesn't mean a sad afternoon. It takes over the whole system. Sleep falls apart, old messages get reread, and the mind won't shut off. Then comes the second layer people misunderstand most. Aries hates waiting, but it is not always childish impatience. A lot of the time it is instinct. A refusal to let hesitation, delay, and emotional drain slowly bleed them dry. They feel stagnation in their body, the tapping foot, clenched jaw, quickened breath, and eyes already scanning for the exit. If a space stops moving, Aries usually leaves before the space does, and that creates a harsh reality. Aries can light up a room, turn a boring night electric, make ordinary conversations spark, simply because they refuse to pretend everything's fine. When that fire makes people feel alive, it gets praised as confident, spontaneous, and magnetic. But when the same fire exposes laziness, hypocrisy, or repetition, Aries instantly becomes difficult. The engine didn't change, the people being illuminated did. A lot of people don't fail because they lack ambition. They fail because their ambition has no brakes. What really needs adjusting isn't your direction in life, but the timing of your impulses. When that familiar surge hits, I need it now, I have to say it now, I should quit now, buy now, prove it now. Do nothing for 20 minutes, not forever, just 20. Put the phone down and step away from the chat, the cart, the argument. Write 3 lines about what happened and what I want to do, and what it will cost me if I'm wrong. Aries does have real advantages. They recover fast and spot opportunities fast, and they climb out of failure fast. But speed can protect you, and it can betray you. The same fire that puts you ahead can push you into rushed decisions, harsh words, or mistaking impulse for clarity. Delay doesn't weaken you, so picture the moment. Your chest tightens, jaw clenches, someone questions you, throws shade, and dumps negative energy into the room. Your instinct is to strike back, escalate, and prove yourself on the spot. You can, but let the 20-minute rule land first. Risk works the same way. Bold people don't lack courage. They lack a system for telling the difference between leaping and leaping blindly. So before any intense yes, ask one cool-headed question. Is this an opportunity, or do I just hate waiting? As for negative people, don't wrestle with them. Less contact, slower replies, and fewer explanations. Distance is always cleaner than drama. No one likes to romanticize this part. The fire that makes Aries glow can also burn them out, pushing them to overpromise and leaving them alone. Cleaning up the emotional bill after the crowd goes home. Winning isn't about becoming less intense. It is about making sure your intensity doesn't drain you dry. So the promise here is small but real. Don't treat every feeling like a final answer. Set boundaries before you give generously. Love hard, but keep a pocket of quiet that belongs only to you. When Aries' anger rises, don't trust the first text, the first purchase, or the first decision. Put the phone down. The better version of you is rarely a dramatic overnight transformation. It is built from countless invisible stops. One argument you didn't escalate, one favor you didn't overpromise, one person you saw clearly and chose to step back from in time.